The Spooktacular Stroll, CNY's not-so-scary Halloween experience for the family, is back. Walk through the half-mile trail in the Bewitched Woods at Long Branch Park in Liverpool every Thursday through Sunday in October from 5 to 9 p.m. Pack the car full of your little goblins. Admission is by the carload. Upstate Golisano Children's Hospital's Spooktacular Stroll is presented by Upstate Honda Dealers. Get your pre-sale tickets today at spooktacularstroll.com.
At the Horticulture Building at the Fairgrounds. Brew. Grab your tickets at hollowhops.com. Fill your goblets with more than 100 wicked craft beers. Miss out at your own risk.
WTLA North Syracuse, WSGO Oswego, W249BC Mattydale, W261AC Oswego, WTKWHD2 Bridgeport, ESPN Radio.
Fran Brown this, Fran Brown that.
If you want me to take a lie detector, Brian, I'll take it.
Portal watch this, Portal watch that.
The dog Marmaduke. People say I like that dog.
What are you talking about playing walk-on? Who do you think walked onto the team?
Anybody that thinks this is going to come back is either naive or plain stupid.
All across CNY.
Kick the tires and light the fires, Big Daddy.
It's the 315.
Hardy faking, feeds the Grace Jameson. He scores!
He scores!
Here's Brian Higgins.
Oh, Friday, welcome in. Bye week. We still got lots to do. But not our normal Friday wackiness. We'll try to slide it in, but we're doing stuff all sorts out of order today. Different stuff going on. We'll tell you what it is in a second, but welcome in here in the Kids and Utica. Rome! What's up, Rome? How are we on this fine Friday? We got LCS baseball coming up later. Mets at 5, Yankees later on tonight after that crazy game last night. We're going to try to bring this to you live as best we can here. Waiting to start it is Syracuse Men's Basketball Media Day. About to get going, it appears, at the Mello Center. Red Autry should be at the old podium sooner than later. Our good friends at News Channel 9 are helping hook us up with some stuff, so we'll try to deliver that to you as soon as Red takes the podium. We're expecting now? No, not quite now. Soon. Very soon. Close to now. Starts at 4. It's 4:02. So, now-ish. So we'll get your Red. Mario, Mario, he of the six-pack, who normally joins this year program 4:30 on Fridays. He is what's the word there, what's the other word, working for his actual job, so he'll be busy doing News Channel 9 stuff from 4 to 5. I believe he's live at 5 on your television, blah blah blah. We're hoping to catch up with Mario later on in hour 2. He is, just in case, he's sent me the six-pack. I have it in my grubby mitts somewhere, so hopefully we'll talk to Mario midway through the second hour, get his reaction from what's going on with his press conference and whatnot, and get the six-pack. We will have the man that sort of knows for you. We'll get into the Tony Bennett stuff. There's a lot going on here on a Friday, considering there's no football game this weekend. So we'll do all of that as best we can throughout our time together here today. No Dungy this week. We'll get back to Erica next week when we get into another football week. Next week it'll be reacting to the Pitt game. So there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on, but keeping our eye here on the feed. It is a live feed. It is moving. Red's not in the feed yet. Eyes on the Mello Center. Whenever he appears, we'll go to that and we'll listen up. We'll get a little Syracuse basketball from the now second year head man in charge of the Orange, getting ready for what is a season filled with question marks, and I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way. So, the questions. I mean that in just kind of the standard way it is in this day and age with Syracuse basketball. We talked a little Cuse basketball last week, and we talked a little bit the other day, but I'll be intrigued to see what kind of questions Red gets today. There's so many new faces. So much is gone for last year. who is Red looking at to be like the guy on the team this year? Is it a JJ? Is it a Chris Bell? Is it a newcomer? How forward facing can a guy like Donnie Freeman be from day one when it comes to Syracuse basketball? You know, Chance Westry mentioned something last week in media day that he was out with some kind of illness. Is that concluded? Looks like Red's going to the podium. I see Red going to the podium right now. Let's do that. Let's listen in. I think Red's ready to go. Here's Adrian Autry's season opening press conference.
I think he's given us an inside presence. I think obviously being able to score around the basket, but he rebounds the ball well. He passes the well. High IQ, great team guy. His leadership has been off the charts. He's been consistent. I love his energy and his the way he's all about the team. So and I expect a lot out of him. I think everyone will be excited to watch him play. He competes at a high level. He competes to win.
My name is Stacey Carter II. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
With teams like Stanford and Cal coming into the ACC, how does that change things as far as preparation for the team?
Well, I think it's just, obviously it's a team on programs that we got to get, used to, accustomed to, coaching styles, personnel. But, I think it's just, something that, it's just another, couple of programs that you got to get prepared for. Obviously, those three programs are great basketball programs. They got great coaches. No one knows anything, so the predictions don't mean anything. I just know that, those are all three good programs and with three good coaches.
Red, in your number two, what did you learn about yourself from your number one that you're trying to carry over to your number two and moving forward?
Well, I don't know if we have enough time for me to answer that, but no, I learned a lot. I think the biggest thing is really kind of shaping and really kind of having stronger convictions on my whys, and that's really a general. It's general, and my whys as far as my convictions, it can go from things on the court, off the court, just being able to be more convinced of certain things that I want moving forward, for the program. I think I just, some things that I valued higher went a little bit lower. Some things that I thought were lower went a little bit higher.
What is that one?
I think, again, just having more of a clearer view of what I want the program, and a lot of it is really outside the program and things that we need to do, the things we need to work on, little things down to just how we travel, things like that. As far as do I implement dress codes or I don't, just things like that. Again, a lot of it, and then obviously from a talent acquisition, really, with the transfer portal, when you have guys returning, when you get those commitments, how do you build that, and how do you support that, because I think in today's world, when you have returners and retention, I think you want to be able to obviously try to reward that and build around that and not build over that, if that makes sense. And I thought, those are the things as I went through the process that I learned in year two.
Coach Leo Schaefer from News House. First off, absolute pleasure to talk to you. Second, last year the majority of the bench wasn't used that much in some games. Do you expect to distribute more minutes to some of your guys who don't start or aren't expected to get that much playing time to begin with this year? Yeah, that's that's always the plan. I think this year this roster is deeper, but again, last year's roster was deeper. But sometimes injuries happen. You just never know what's going to happen as far as that. And I thought last year we got hit with the injury bug. We lost Naheem early. Monir at that time, he couldn't really practice for us, so we had some injuries, and this year, we have, 11, 12 guys that, as of right now, are healthy, and, for us to be successful, we have to play more guys. This is a very balanced team, a very competitive team, and, I think that the strength of this team will be in how many guys we can play. Thank you, sir. You spoke to those injuries with Naheem and, of course, with Chance Westry last year. What are those two guys to have fully healthy? How's that going to build your program this season?
I mean, those are huge additions. Naheem,
He started practicing back a little bit in July, and it was limited, obviously, with the foot issues. But in the last month or so, he's been full go. He's really rounding himself back into shape, and that's a big plus for us. He's a guy that obviously, he's big, but he can move. He can do some things that will help us. And Chance is, again, I thought he was playing his best basketball towards the end of the summer. Again, a guy that can play multiple positions, that can pass the ball. He's improved, and he's still working on his shot. And I think that was the biggest thing that he needed to work on, coming from Auburn here, was improving his outside shot. And I think he's done that. So, again, having those two guys back healthy, is going to be a huge addition for us.
Adrian, you brought in a bunch of new guys, and one of those new guys is Jair Davis, and we don't want to talk too much about him. Tell us a little bit about what you expect from him and what kind of role you think he's going to play. My expectations for him is like all of our guys to come in and, play hard as you can and give me what you can. But Jair's a guy that is he's a tough cover because he can play bigger guys, he can play against smaller guys. His three-point numbers may not show that, but that's one of the biggest things that he's improved since he's been here, and especially since we've been practicing his outside shot. But he's a guy that can score around the basket. He can rebound the ball. A guy that's versatile. But he's really good in the mid-range, but he's improved his outside shooting and his leadership. He's an older guy. He's been at this level, and now he's back at this level. And I think the greatest thing about all the new guys that we brought in, they all were willing to make a sacrifice and buy into what we're trying to accomplish here. And I think that's the biggest compliment, and that's what makes me really excited about these guys, because all these guys, he was a 17-point scorer. He knows he's not going to average 17 this year, but, he's willing to come in and do what he needs to do, and I think he'll be a great help for us.
Red, what does it say about college basketball when somebody like Tony Bennett says that's it for me?
It's an interesting question, because Tony and obviously those coaches, they have experience of what college was, and now it's a big change and it's a different change. And again, I don't want to speculate, about why he stepped away. You read, but again, I think it's just a change. It's a change, and change is hard. Change is difficult. Change is, everyone has to get used to it. And I just think, I don't know if that's 100% it, but, the change is, to be able to coach a certain way and have success a certain way, and to be able to recruit and attract and maintain talent. And now, with all the new rules, I'm sure it had to, probably change the way he coached or the way he, thought about things, and most older coaches. For me, I came into it like this as a head coach, so this is the job that I have, and so I have to either get with it or lose my job.
Red, the four transfers you brought in, they're all older guys, seniors or grad students. They had big roles where they were before. I was wondering how they've kind of assimilated themselves into the team fabric here, and are they becoming leaders here? They've been great. I think they have. Again, guys that have been in college, 4 and 5 years, they've been through some wars, and they know this is an opportunity for them, and they are happy, and they want to be here as much as we wanted them here. But they have, these guys are all mature. They have a good, IQ for the game. They understand, what it takes to be successful on and off the court. Their maturity and their togetherness has been, a really good surprise. We started in July, and I've seen these guys. We've done things off the court. We've tried to really make that happen, make that connection happen, and they've done a really good job of gelling.
Coach, how has Donnie Freeman adjusted to the physicality of college basketball, especially going up in practice against experienced guys like Naheem and Jair and Eddie?
It depends on what day. It depends on who's guarding him that day. Donnie is a unique talent in that, he can move, he can bang. So it depends on the matchup of the day. Typically sometimes when he gets matched up with Eddie or Jair, it depends, but
it could be more physical that day. But Donnie is very talented. He's really kind of figured out how to use his abilities against different matchups so far in our gym. So, but he's a kid a young man that is battling. He's not scared. He wants to do well, and he's never going to quit. So, I've been impressed with that, like being able to respond to mistakes, be able to respond to things and kind of get right back to it. He's a willing learner, and he's receptive to that. So that's what I've been impressed with.
Greg, you referenced, I think, doing some things different things to try to build chemistry. What sort of things did you try that maybe new this season?
Yeah, last summer it was, all I could think about was, I was making changes in style of play, making changes, and I was really, I just wanted us to be prepared for that, and I knew it was going to take some adjustments. So we did a lot of stuff just literally in the gym. This year, we took some time away. We had a trip down to New York. We had a softball game. Just different things like that. Bowling one time. So different things like that. Just to get outside the gym and just kind of relax and just be around each other. Last year I didn't have a chance to do that. I was just so focused on trying to, obviously making changes, and a lot of the guys that we had that came return last year was that freshman class, and so it was really, we were changing, styles. So I really wanted to try to do as best as possible to get them prepared for what we wanted to do.
Yeah, another great freshman you brought in was Elijah Moore. Just how do you hope to utilize his shooting ability and also develop the rest of the team?
Elijah's been great. He's improved. I think the biggest improvement, that Elijah has made is, like you said, we know that he can shoot, but the biggest improvement that he's made has been on the defensive end, and he still has ways to go, but that's typical for freshmen. What I love about Elijah as well is that he's a tough kid, tough young man, and he tries and he wants to be good, but he's a guy that he's gotten better. We've put him with the ball in his hand to work on his decision making, to work on his ball handling, and he's done a really good job with that. He's a guy that's here every day in the gym all the time, always trying to improve, and that's not just him, but mostly our whole team is like that.
With new transfer Eddie Lampkin as your projected starter and Naheem McLeod back as the backup, does your plan of attack from last year in the paint on both sides of the ball change, especially with tough matchups coming up ahead, like the Cooper Flag and Malik Brown Duke duo?
Well, I'm not thinking about Malik or Cooper. I don't know who says, I don't know what the projections are, but Eddie, obviously when you have someone like Eddie who can score in the post, you got it, yes. So you do have to go inside. Last year we were not able to go inside as much as we wanted. This year, I think we do have that because Eddie can provide low post scoring. Jair can provide low post scoring, and Donnie Freeman as well. So yes, we will get the ball inside and try to get the ball inside a little bit more than we did last year, just because we have the guys that can do it. So with Eddie, I don't know if it changes everything, but do we have more options? Absolutely. I think we can score, inside. I think we can get to the rim. I think we can shoot. With the roster that we put together this year, I thought we wanted to address a lot of those issues. One of the issues is we wanted to be able to score and get some inside presence around the basket.
Coach, how does having a true point guard, true pass point guard like JC help your guys on the wing, like Chris Bell and JJ and Elijah, kind of get more of their shots up on the perimeter? And are you planning on running some more actions to get them moving off the ball, both for shots and for cuts?
Well, I think having someone like JC that has exceptional vision, looks to give people the ball, I think it'll benefit obviously those guys, but it just benefits our team. Where the one thing about JC is he'll get the ball to those guys in timing, right when they need it, right when they're ready to shoot. Whether it's in transition, whether it's a breakdown, he's an exceptional passer. But I think he's really, the whole team benefits from it. Not just certain guys, but I'm sure it would help. I think it'll help Chris or Lucas or whoever it is get some more shots just because of the timing. But also guys like Eddie, people, he can screen. He knows how to get people open. Donnie is learning that. Jair is learning that, how to get people open, not just with the pass, by screening. And those are the things that I've seen so far this summer. So, but having JC, I think it helps the whole team.
Coach, you spoke about Donnie earlier. Obviously,
do you think that experience kind of playing into pros every day?
I think he had a chance to sit with some guys and play, and obviously, I think he wanted to play a little bit more, but to learn, to learn how and to watch how pros work, what their routine is. I think, the one thing that he took from that was just the preparation piece of it. How hard those guys work and how they prepare and the movement and things like that, and and how hard they work on their craft. I think that was he got a small glimpse of what that looks like, playing on that Bahamian national team.
Coach, how is J.J. Wilkins' second full year with the team last year, coming in, transferring from Notre Dame and battling some injuries during his time to Notre Dame? How has he looked building up to his second year with you?
He's been great. JJ's been great. I think, the one thing is he's got himself in tremendous shape. I thought he had a great summer. Playing, multiple positions, shooting the basketball like we know he can. Like he finished up the end of this the end of the season last year, making reads. So JJ's, he's had a really good summer. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him to really kind of, break out and have that big year that I think everyone expects. And this team needs it. We need him to play well this year for us to kind of, be in the hunt for anything that we want to do. But he had a great summer.
I don't know how much you're paying attention to it, but were you surprised not to see him on the preseason All-ACC team?
Not really. When it comes to those things, you just never know. And again, I thought we had a good year. I thought he had a good year. I thought he played his best basketball in conference play. But I can't really. Who knows?
We've got time for two more.
Coach, year two for you, obviously, brought in a lot of players and a lot of talent. How do you get back to the tournament? Simply, how do you get back to the tournament? How do you utilize your players and the talent that you brought in and all of the things that you said you wanted to change within yourself, within the program, outside of the program? How do all of those things help you get back to the tournament?
Well, I know the one thing that I know how to get back to the tournament, and that's win enough games. I do know that, right? So we got to do a better job of that. I thought last year, I thought it was 3 or 4 games that I think we could have secured those. I think we would have been more in play than what people would have thought. I really think that. Would we have made it? I don't know, but I think we'd have been close. But I think we got to win games. I think that, you can, Ken Palm, all this stuff, you got to win games, and you got to win non-conference games, and you got to schedule teams, and you got to give your team a chance. And I think we've done that with our non-conference. We got some great non-conference opponents, and we have to win. We have to win some of those games, if not all, and then go and win in conference, because I do believe this conference is loaded this year. There's no doubt about it. I think everybody will see that this year. By the time January hits, I just feel like when I look over it and I look at these rosters in our conference, this conference is no joke. And I think the narrative will change this year. But the short answer is you got to win games, and you got to win the right games, and you got to win enough games. But winning, you just got to win.
On your staff, you lose Jerry McNamara, you bring in Coach Engelstad. What did you lose in Jerry, and what are you getting in Coach Davis?
Well, I lost a close friend, first and foremost. Obviously, a bright mind, a great coach. He's going to do great things at Siena. We're bringing in, someone like Dan Engelstad with his experience, obviously a great coach, great mind, great motivator, great teacher, person that is selfless, that cares about the program. He's all about the program, and that's what we brought in. I'm just excited to have him here. Feel very fortunate to be able to have someone like Coach Engelstad on our staff, and I think our players love him. I think he will make his mark and his imprint in this program, within what we do. So I'm just happy that we have him.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there he is, Red Autry, first official press conference, at least in Syracuse this year. ACC tip-off was last week. First exhibition game is a week from tomorrow. There we go. A little basketball. Wait, where is it? Hang on. We got to, yep.
Has basketball season started yet?
Oh, it's getting closer. It's getting closer, though. Don't let Fran Brown tell you otherwise here, because, he ain't stopping. We're going to be going simultaneous here for a month and a half or so coming up. All right, so a little Red Autry for you. In fact, a lot of Red Autry for you. With that, we got to get back on time here. Let's take a break. If you have any thoughts on anything Red said, want to talk some Syracuse basketball, phones are available, 315-437-7644. React to that. We'll get into the Tony Bennett retirement news that broke during the show yesterday. He has since spoken. We have some of that to bring back to you as well, and much, much more as we go on throughout our Friday together here this afternoon. We'll step aside for a few. Back at it after this here at Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.
Join news.
What is up, chat? How are we? Syracuse and Southern Cal. T. Murphy down to Cuse and USC. And I believe, is he here right now? I think Cayenne's supposed to be visiting Syracuse this weekend. Is he in that room? Where is he? Where is Cayenne? I think he's supposed to be here this week. So much chicken, Kev. So much chicken. You got the Walmart money, the chicken money. Jerry Jones might peel off a little scratch. You can get the best team money can buy down there in Fayetteville. But yeah, not a lot of the old school vibe guys left. I'd say I'd probably put Mark Few in that category. Patino, sort of. I don't know where Bill Self falls. Where does Bill Self fall? He's not as old as those guys, but he's certainly been doing it for a long time. Little blue blood. Yes, Zach. It is. Yeah, I mean, Patino's old, but he's only like sort of old school. Like, he seems cool with the NIL and slinging it around and whatnot. There's a difference between old and old school. Like, Patino's, what, 70? I mean, Patino's much older than Tony Bennett. Yeah. Like, Cal's been paying players for 30, 40 years. Kansas is, yeah, what does Bill Self care? When did Red join the staff? He joined the staff in 2010? When did he get here? 2012? What was his first year? $2014? Yeah, I knew it was one of those even years, CJC. Almost had it. I was right. 2011. I had it surrounded. You typed it confidently, CJC. 2011, 2012 was his first year. That year went rather well. John Wooden Sheet? No, he would have never had a booster that bought all the best centers and other players in the country, Minnesota Dan. What was that guy's name? Why did I just blank on his name? Who was their booster? They had a guy. The heck was UCLA's booster's name? Sam something. That sounds right. UCLA basketball booster John Wooden. Sam Gilbert. Gotta have a guy. Yeah, Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam and his fine American currency. Who's named Happy? I haven't watched Blue Chips in a hot minute. That was a great movie.
All across CNY, it's the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
All right, back at it here on a Friday. A little different start to the show today. We got like 20, 25 minutes of Red Autry leading into year 2. In charge of the Syracuse basketball team, replacing Jim Boeheim. We saw yesterday another, I'd imagine he'll be a Hall of Famer one day, Tony Bennett, retiring at the age of 55. We'll play back some of that sound for you. Red was asked about that, and, I thought the most interesting part of his answer, like Red was coaching obviously before all the world changed, but he became a head coach after all this stuff happened, NIL, transfer portal. Like, you sort of know what you're getting into. Like it, don't like it, or otherwise, but a different world right from one that Tony Bennett stepped into all those many moons ago. Red, it certainly changed during his time as an assistant, but you at least kind of know the deal when you're signing up to be a head coach, saying, well, like, I can't blame it. Like, I knew what I was getting into. Whether you really can know what you're getting into in this day and age is certainly a whole another conversation. Phone lines available if you'd like to talk some hoops or whatever is on your mind. Yankees had the crazy game with Cleveland last night. Mets' first pitch is about a half hour away as they try to keep their season alive. Lots going here on a Friday. 315-437-7644 for ESPN 44. I'd say as far as the, anything we heard there from Red, what stands out most, the basketball stuff didn't really stand out a ton. Yeah, everyone's doing well this time of year. You want everyone to work on their defense. You got high hopes for everyone that came in. Was good to get a little assessment of Jair Davis and Chapa Moore and some of the newcomers to the team. But I'd say the main part, and it was just kind of buried in the middle of one of Red's answers there, is mentioning he was asked about the newcomers on the team and how they are all, veterans, 4th year, 5th year guys coming from other schools. The 4 players that transferred in from elsewhere. When you look at Lampkin and Jaquan Carlos and Lucas Taylor and Jair Davis, there we go. Yeah, now we're to basketball flow. Rip them off. Yeah, I don't know if I could have done that a week ago. We're back into you gotta get the basketball names and the roster. You gotta loosen it up, stretch it out here a little bit. I might forget a cornerback's name because we had to remember all that. But you get those guys in here. Red used these words: maturity and togetherness of the roster. Maturity and togetherness. We all watched last year's team. Clearly, that last year's team was lacking in that at various points and in various ways. Will the talent match up, those guys to the guys that left? I don't know. We'll have to see, because these 4 guys coming in, have you watched them play? Yeah, come on. I saw Eddie Lampkin play in the first 4. I'm like, yeah, look at that guy. These other 3 guys? No. I haven't watched them play. Donnie Freeman, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. Chapa Moore, you see highlights, whatever. No, we haven't really watched them play. We don't know what they're going to be. The hope, talent-wise, is they'll all be good enough to contribute or excel at this level. Chemistry, man. Chemistry. We saw last season, I think it's always known, we saw last season how important chemistry is within the roster. Chemistry between roster and coaching staff. Chemistry all around. We saw the issues kind of bubble up every now and again last year. If you can have, a little bit more smooth sailing through calm seas this year, maybe Red will have a better chance to wrangle the talent and direct it the way he would like. We'll see. That said, I feel like with all the talk of everything last year and missed the tournament and this, that, and whatever, they did win 20 games last year. So the leap back to where you want to be, it's not like you got to long jump the world record here to get from here to there. They won 20 games last year. Red said that too, Ken Palm, this, that, all these things. You have to win games. When push comes to shove, metrics, whatever, by the end of the year, last year you won 20. 20 is no longer a number that matters necessarily when it comes to selection. It's no longer a get-in kind of number. Can you win 22? Can you have big wins? Can you go out and do that? Red knows that. Hey, we won 20 last year. It wasn't enough. We got to go win games. Got to win games in the league. Got to win some important non-conference games. Got to win games away from your building. If you can accomplish that, you'll do it. But 20 games last year, I get the roster is very, very different. But for all the, oh my goodness, what can they ever do? Preseason 11th. They won 20. You don't got to double that. You double that, you've won the national championship. 40 would be a lot. Well, we'll see how it looks this year. We'll see how it looks. I'd say, exhibition games or whatever, you can take out of them what you will. It'll be interesting literally just to see some of these guys on a basketball court wearing a Syracuse uniform for the first time. Like, all right, this Jake Juan Carlos came in from Hofstra. What does he literally look like on the basketball? How tall is he? What's going on out here? Lucas Taylor, what does his shot legit look like? Jair Davis, he was a big physical guy at Delaware. Does he look big and physical still in an ACC way, or I don't know. Eddie Lampkin, he played at this level. He played in several power conferences. We kind of get the gist, but, what does he look like moving around? Donnie Freeman. String Bean, how tall is he? 7 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet? I heard he keeps growing. How talented is he? Will it just be oozing out of his pores in the exhibition game one? Or, well, all right, growing pains. Chop him more. Is he knocking down every shot? Is he a little, nervous as a freshman out there? I don't know. These are the questions we'll start to answer during the exhibition season. There's a lot of questions about the basketball this year, but to hear the words maturity and togetherness about the team feels very important. Certainly based on last year for the head coach to basically front foot forward lead with that this year. All right, we'll take a break. Phone lines open when we come back. 315-437-7644 for ESPN 44. Could talk some Syracuse hoops if you want. Got a little Syracuse football down the line, of course. Man who sort of knows on a Friday. We'll hope to be joined by Mario next hour. He's a busy boy here on this Friday. When we come back, want to get into the Tony Bennett stuff as well. He spoke this morning. That's certainly the biggest news in the college basketball world this week. We'll hit you with a little Tony Bennett when we come back after this here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.
Q Sports.
Ryan, you might get like the diagonal soreness from the swing. Like left hip up through right shoulder. Look, it's Mike. Mike waved. And he rubbed his eye. What's up?
A football game last night. Really boring.
I did not watch it.
I watched about halfway through the second quarter, and I was like, I just can't do it.
Like, I wasn't in front of a TV yet by the time the game started, so by the time I got to a TV a little after 9, it was obvious that it should just not be watched. I'm like,
Yeah, and it being streamed is stupid.
No, Dinky's Pond. That was my original thought, but we got Crunch on later, so I'll be doing the full 2. We'll get Jordan in here. He's going to do a little Yankees on deck, and then at 6:45 we'll have the Crunch. We got all sorts of things, Dinky's Pond.
We should all crowdfund YouTube to get the rights to all streaming sports.
Yeah, sure. We're gonna need a big crowd for that, I think.
I think we got what, 12 people here.
You didn't watch the end of Thursday Night Football?
No.
I didn't watch the beginning, nor did I watch the middle.
You missed that thrilling Cedric Wilson touchdown at the end to give Jake Hayner his first career touchdown?
No.
I did miss that. I also missed all of the rest of it.
You could ask me if I wanted to watch a replay of that. And
I saw Javonte Williams had a nice game.
Some would argue it made the game plus 968 times better.
Wow, that is a lot of times to be better.
Yeah.
968 times plus better.
That's like more than double 5 times.
That checks out.
Sort of.
I mean, it doesn't. That is more.
My takeaway from the game, really.
It depends, because plus 962 times better, one could argue, is actually slightly less than 10 times better, depending on how we're working the math here.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't get how that would be a possibility.
Okay. Well, it might be.
I feel like 10 times and 900. What do you mean? All right, whatever.
I'll just put this.
We're talking about gambling, Mike.
Jake Hayner is arguably my new favorite player in the NFL.
Shout out to Jake Hainer.
Also, didn't Derek Carr go to Fresno State?
He did go to Fresno
So why
State.
do they just want all the guys from Fresno State?
Yeah, they're like, you, him, take them all.
It was bad. Like, Radler, every snap, he just held it and eventually threw it to the running back. And then Hainer comes in, he's like, three-step bang. It's like, wait a minute, this guy's on to something. When you throw the ball as a quarterback, you're better.
I enjoyed the play that didn't count where he got snapped to Rattler, then he dropped it, then he picked it up, then he got creamed and fumbled, and then there was like, that play didn't happen.
That was
a fun highlight.
I watched this video on Twitter last night, and the caption was, I feel so bad for Rattler because he was so humble in high school, and then it was a clip of him in high school doing like one-on-ones with his backup quarterback, and he's just like being the meanest person in the world to his backup quarterback, telling him he's terrible, he's awful. It was very funny.
What happened, Kev?
They literally didn't throw the ball to Sutton once the entire game, I don't think.
Virginia Tech, good Lord, they did horrible things to Boston College last night.
Yeah, they held them to under 21.5 points.
Was that old Disney movie?
Hypothetically.
I just saw something that the Virginia Tech grounds crew posted a picture of the locker room, and it was like, thanks to BC for leaving the locker room clean and putting all the chairs back. We appreciate it. And I was like, that's wholesome.
That's wholesome. They also gave up like 280 yards to Byshell Newton.
Which one would argue Virginia Tech appreciates even more.
Yeah, probably even more. That was a butt whooping. That would hurt a parlay like that. 0.
All across CNY, it's the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
It's a rare condition.
I saw something last night that like the guy that sings this song sang like the intro to like every TGIF song. I forgot his name already. Shout out to this guy. He did like Full House, Family Matters, Step by Step. He did them all. If you wonder why you get them confused, it's because it's the same guy. And because it was 30 years ago and you just forget. But there we are. Back at it here on a Friday. 315-437-7644 for ESPN 44. Give a ring. Join in throughout our time together today. Hopefully we'll get Mario by coming up next hour. He is occupado right now. He's at, we just played you Red Autry at Syracuse men's basketball media day today. After that, you go talk to the players and the whole thing. Mario's doing that now. So hopefully next hour, some point, we'll get a chance to chat with him, get his takeaways of all that jazz. We'll get you the man that sort of knows. Picks coming up here in a little bit. Want to get into this Tony Bennett news. We were quite literally reacting in real time yesterday. That story broke 5 minutes into the show. I was like, what in the world is this? And it was like, is this real? Is this not real? This is real. You wonder why. And the two main things that would come to mind, given that we are less than 3 weeks from the season, are A, health, and B, just run down, worn out, sick and tired of dealing with the current state of college athletics. And sounds significantly more like it was column B than column A. We'll start with this. Tony Bennett just discussing his retirement, the now former national championship winning Virginia men's basketball head coach.
And I've been here for 15 years as the head coach. And I thought it would be a little longer, to be honest, but that's been on loan. It wasn't mine to keep. This position has been on loan, and it's time for me to, excuse me, I knew that would happen. It's time for me to give it back. But to give it back, to gain what I can't lose, to be a better husband. I love Laurel with all my heart, and we're going to find out if you love me with all your heart, because I'm going to be around a lot more. To to be a better dad to my daughter Anna and my son Eli. My parents are both 81 years old, and I don't want to live with any regrets. Just to be around them, to be a better friend, be a better brother. I know my sister, if she's watching, would be saying that to me. I look forward to the relationships with the former players, and even the current ones and the staff that you don't always get to have when you're grinding away. So I think about that, and it's mine to give back. And I've given everything I can for 15 years.
Yeah, so there's kind of the sappy emotional side of it, which I'm sure is all true, and Bennett often talks like that. But then there's this. Him on the way out the door, less than 3 weeks from the season, essentially on the current state of college basketball and college sports.
This game, I think it's right for players, student athletes to receive revenue. Please don't mistake me. I do. I think it is. But the game and college athletics is not in a healthy spot. It's not. And there needs to be change. And it's not going to go back. I think I was equipped to do the job here the old way. And that's who I am, and that's how it was. And my staff has buoyed me along to get to this point. But there needs to be change. It's going to be closer to a professional model, Coach Carlisle. I think it is, where there's got to be collective bargaining. There has to be a restriction on the salary pool that teams can spend. There has to be transfer regulation restrictions. There has to be some limits on the agent involvement to these young guys. And there are good agents and there are bad agents, and they're driving some of this stuff that we're in. And I worry a lot about the mental health of the student athletes as all this stuff comes down. And it's sometimes when you're in it, you have to step away, and maybe I can be an advocate for the student athletes and the coaches to get the changes. But this is a place that will.
So there is Tony Bennett on that. Basically, from the sound of it, he didn't explicitly say it, but he might as well have, that he's sick of dealing with all the modern crap, I guess. Where we just heard from Red, who, he's not, Red is only, 13, did we determine, from his leap year birthday last year? But Red's 52. Tony Bennett's 55. Okay. But Tony Bennett's been a head coach at the high major level for a long time now and has done things a certain way. Red has been a head coach here. Now he's entering his second year, and the entirety of his head coaching experience is in this, whatever you want to call, this modern NIL transfer portal era. Like, you either have to accept it, adapt to it, or, as Tony Bennett did yesterday, say, yeah, I'm not willing to change that much to deal with all this. I enjoyed the previous way. I did great. Goodbye. And I think, to tie it back into Syracuse again, look at Fran Brown. Look at Fran Brown. Listen to what Tony Bennett just said there, and listen to everything we've heard from Fran for the last 10 months. It might as well be the direct opposite. It's like, we're going to attack the portal, and on top of this, on top of that, on top of that. It's not an old school way. It's all new school. Fran's 41. I mean, there's the difference in the age and the difference in all that stuff, and it's a clear divide, new school, old school, and all of that. I do find it strange. I don't know. Tony said something in there that I guess they had a fall break in Virginia, and that he and his wife went on a short vacation or something, and I don't know if he had an epiphany or whatnot, but I do find it a little that this happens less than 3 weeks from the start of the season. You wonder how long. I doubt he just woke up and was like, yeah, I'm not going to work today. There had been a lot of rumblings back in the spring that he was feeling this way, though in June he did sign a new contract extension through 2030. It's just the interesting balance of all this stuff. And in this era of coaches moving all over this place, in this era of players, unlimited freedom of movement in the transfer portal, in the era of NIL, you could hear, without identifying who he's talking about, clearly Tony Bennett is sick and tired of dealing with, upstart agents in this era, which are running amok in this current era. But it did allow his associate head coach, Ron Sanchez, at least to get the job on an interim basis, happening this close to the season. It'll be interesting to see how Virginia does. Virginia is not Stanford and how tough it is to get into school there, but it ain't easy. Their academic restrictions are certainly more than many. They have specific rules that are more stringent than others when it comes to credits transferring and whatever in the transfer portal era that I'm sure are more of a pain in the butt to deal with for a guy like Bennett than having a guy there that redshirts and is hanging out there for 5 years, which was much of his team. But, man, it's a whole new world, and I don't want to say fortunately or unfortunately. It is. It is. And if you're Tony Bennett, who did it one way, and that way worked, and that way's not working so much anymore, but you don't want to do the new way, then this is the answer. Then that is the answer. 55, 85, 45, whatever your age. Like, fortunately, unfortunately, or otherwise, this is the answer that stepping aside for others. That said, how long till Tony's on TV? How long till Tony's sitting at an ACC network desk with Jim Boeheim chopping it up? Like, Monday? It's how long? How long till Tony's on TV? That guy's going to be on TV. I can't. He's so going to be on TV. Oh, he's very telegenic. I mean, it'll be the whole thing. But it is college sports. Fran Brown, he says, choo-choo, all aboard. Hop on the train. Tony Bennett, yesterday, this is my stop. I'm getting off. I don't like this ride. Fran Brown, Red Autry, they're on. They're driving. It's a different world. A little bit from the shocking story of yesterday, explained further by now retired Virginia men's basketball head coach Tony Bennett this morning. All right, we'll step aside for a few here in this hour, brought to you by William Mattar. When we come back, we'll hit you with a little man that sort of knows. Want to get a little Syracuse football talking later. More ACC football. Money. It's the money talk. TV money talk when it comes to football. We'll hit you with that coming up later as well. All as we mosey along here on this Friday. Phones available also at 315-437-7644. Back after this, Q Sports Talk, ESPN Radio.
Q Sports.
You got a point there, Tronic. Mike is staring at me through the window, and I don't like it very much. Yes, very fortuitous timing, Tim. I planned it out specifically. I said, Tony, wait to retire, but not too long. We're going to do a thing tomorrow, so if you can, like, Tony retiring during the show on Thursday, and then Red's presser during the show on Friday. I mean, we love it. We love it. Yeah, we'll see what the emotional toll of last night was on the old Yankees. Now Mike has just opened the door and walked in, as opposed to staring at me with a hint of lunacy from the window.
We got the ESPN Rec League starting in a couple hours. So I'm just gonna get some shots up.
Oh, we got that. Okay, you're gonna, in the gym down the hall. Yeah, very important. It's not going well. Mike has dribbled the ball off his foot.
No, it just didn't come back up.
No, that wasn't on your foot. That just had no. Kev had to stay for.
That room was straight. I think that would have gone in.
One of these days, we're going to get some bolts and screw that back together. No. We say for the last 2 years consecutively.
Every time I shoot, I'm like, I got some screws or bolts I can put in there.
Oh, yeah. No, I got a garage full. But let's be honest, I'm not going to remember, nor am I going to bring them in or do anything about it. I could do something about it. I openly choose not to. Or I will openly forget about it the second I leave here. So we'll just let Mike shoot it right into the big Labatt blue light can on your screen.
So whenever we whenever I play rec on 2K with my friends, that's where you like have your guy and you play with 4 other people against 5 people.
Yeah.
Whenever anybody like takes a layup when they should go for a dunk, we all just go Syracuse because like back in the day, no one ever dunked on Syracuse. Like when they had like Flynn and Harris and Stevendorf, like but Harris was really the only guy that was throwing it down. I mean the bigs were, but none of the guards. So if someone like gets a steal and it's on a fast break and they go up and like for some reason their guy layups instead of dunks, we go Syracuse.
I don't know if you've watched a lot of Johnny Flynn, is what I'm hearing. Because he'd put it on your dome.
I mean, he did, but like I don't know.
Go ask Mike Rosario how he feels about that.
It was, like as a whole, though, there was just a lot of layups back then. A lot of fast break layups.
Back then?
Hey, back then for me, I was
He just backed then 2009. Oh, Lord.
Listen, I was like 13, man.
Oh, back then.
That was, what?
It was last week, Mike.
15 years ago.
Yeah, it was 15 years ago.
That is back then.
Oh, back then.
Just because it's a shorter back then for you doesn't mean it's not a back then, okay?
Back then. Sure, it wasn't like a month ago? Back then. Do I? Not really. Gotta fix the hoop first. Back then. Who wins a game of knockout? Jordan, Mike, or Tim? Tim's the tallest. Which doesn't necessarily matter at all in a game of knockout.
It's the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
Alrighty. Rolled along here on this Friday. A lot of hoopsy stuff here today. We'll get a little football in, I promise. We'll do our little 411 NFL whip around. We'll do it slightly earlier today as we try to sync things up to chat with Mario at Men's Basketball Media Day right now. But it is Friday. And when it's Friday, we always must do this.
Could we have the money now?
I'm telling you, it's a lock.
What if there was a restaurant that didn't serve any food and just served up gambling?
Father was a mutter. His mother was a mutter.
I thought gambling was illegal.
Not if no one sees you do it.
Guaranteed bets.
The man is a gambler.
Results not guaranteed.
Pay that man his money.
It's the man who sort of knows.
Man that sort of knows is on a bit of a heater. 5-1 2 weeks ago, 4-1 last week, 3 picks on the college gridiron this week, 2 in the National Football League. One of the games as soon as this very evening. We will start in West Lafayette, Indiana. Purdue is a 28.5-point home underdog to Oregon, who's coming off the wildest game of the college football season so far, at least in tight competition with that Georgia-Alabama game for wildest game, that crazy finish they had last week with Ohio State to ascend to number 2 in the rankings. They play tonight at 8 o'clock. Here's the stat. Here's the stat this year in this season of conferences expanded all over hell and God. Big Ten teams going from the Pacific time zone, where at last check Eugene, Oregon is located, to either the Central or Eastern time zone, which at last check where West Lafayette, Indiana is located. The teams that have done that, not only have they not covered, they're 0-5. They haven't won a game. They're 0-5. Those teams going west to east are 0-5 in Big Ten games so far this year. They haven't won. Purdue is a 28.5-point dog. Swallow deep and take the Boilermakers tonight with 4 touchdowns and the hook. In related news, tomorrow in College Park, Maryland, the Terrapins are 7.5-point dogs at home to USC. I don't know if you've heard, but Big Ten teams this season going from West Coast to East Coast are 0-5 this year. USC has not won a game in the Eastern time zone in 12 years. They've lost 10 straight. Sadly, you will remember their last win in the Eastern time zone. It's because USC played Syracuse there and beat them at MetLife Stadium back in 2012. Take Maryland plus a touchdown and the hook plus 7.5 against USC tomorrow. One more in the Big Ten tomorrow. The man that sort of knows has eyes on Indiana. Nebraska, 7-point road dog at undefeated Indiana. Matt Rule Noted mentor of Fran Brown, noted head coach of the Cornhuskers, is 35-18 all-time against the spread as a dog. That's 67%. He's got a touchdown to play with. Indiana's 6-0. The man that sort of knows says it's a soft 6-0. Nebraska, pretty good. Best Nebraska team in years. Take Nebraska to cover the 7 at Indiana tomorrow. 2 from the National Football League, 1 on Sunday and 1 that spills over to Monday. So 4 days of Man Who Sort of Knows this week. Seattle and the Falcons play on Sunday. Kenneth Walker III is Seattle's running back. His total is 64.5 yards versus a weak Atlanta rushing defense. Also, bonus for you on Sunday, it's Walker's birthday. Happy birthday with the over for Ken Walker on Sunday. Then Monday night down in Tampa, the Baltimore Ravens hit the road, 3-point favorites on the road at Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay. Here's a number for you. Lamar Jackson is 22-1 all-time versus the NFC. What? He's 22-1 all-time versus the NFC. And if you really want to break your brain, the one is the Giants. His only loss ever against an NFC team is the New York Football Giants 2 years ago. Ride with Lamar Monday night. Ravens -3 at Tampa Bay. To recap, college football, Purdue plus 28.5 versus Oregon tonight. Maryland plus 7.5 versus USC tomorrow. Nebraska plus 7 at Indiana tomorrow. Man that sort of knows, riding with 3 road dogs in the Big Ten. Sunday in the NFL, Kenneth Walker of the Seahawks over 64.5 yards against the Falcons. And Monday night, the Ravens -3 against Tampa Bay. And that, my friends, is what the man that sort of knows thinks he knows this week. Without a break, phone lines open when we come back for hour 2. 315-437-7644. Chime in about whatever. Want to get into some TV numbers. About halfway through the season, TV numbers are in. One conference is looking great, and is it at the expense of Syracuse and the ACC? We'll get into that when we come back here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. Mike is not, yeah. In knockout, you got to make the free throw at some point is the key. Yeah, game 4. Is game 4 tonight, Zach? Is that a fact? Yes. San Diego Cuse, we have a Pikachu, or as Max calls him, Pinkachu, even though decidedly not pink. Which is even stranger because he doesn't watch the show at all. But we've got a Pikachu, and I believe Viv is going to be. She has both options available in her costume dresses, but either Anna or Elsa. She will be a Frozen. Either that or turn the lights out and hide, CJC. We got to get the Costco bag. We haven't picked up our candy yet. Got to get the Costco bag. Our neighborhood is wild. There's so many houses. Like we're one of the neighborhoods where there's a ton of people, but also people come from elsewhere and park and trick or treat there, which I don't like that. Like you don't live there. What's happening with this? I don't know. Just our neighborhood gets overrun with cars, CJC. It feels dangerous. It's dark. There's cars. I feel the thank you rate has dropped in trick-or-treaters recently, too. Thank you rate has definitely dropped. Yeah, like, I need a little effort. Like, get a costume and say thank you. That's all I'm asking. I'm happy to hand out the candy. You dress up and you say thank you. Back in my day, see how many segments we can just sound old and crotchety. Yeah, brand new streets, Sandy. That's tricky. CJC's just up there with sniping with eggs. Here, kids. Give this to mom and dad. Mike's chosen no violence with CJC. Or you forget to bring it to work because you eat it all yourself. And then you have regrets.
A great day. A really great day. All across CNY, it's the 315 with Brian Higgins. Halfway home, we drive into the second hour with Burdick BMW.
That we do. A very basketball-heavy hour one in the books. We got the first press conference of Red Autry here this season. As always, we'll be covering all of his post-game press conferences live during our post-game shows throughout the year. That will be starting with the opener, Syracuse versus Le Moyne, coming up Monday, November the 4th. Full pregame, postgame coverage, hour before, through an hour after every Cuse game this year, right here on the radio, ESPN 97.7, and when that not available, always available on QSportsTalk.com, regardless of radio conflicts one way or another. We'll be here with you postgame each and every game all season long for certain. So, hoops is coming up. Our next postgame, though, will be football. Late Thursday night. That'll be 11-ish, maybe. 7:30 kickoff coming up this Thursday at Pittsburgh. What do we got coming up this hour? We'll hope to bring Mario on at some point to six-pack it up. And Mario's at the ACC, at the Syracuse Basketball Media Day right now. See who we talked to, what he learned, what came away. He's on the TV right now, or just was. So we'll try to catch up with him in a little bit. We'll get Mike in here shortly, our NFL whip around on a Friday. And the phone lines are open, 315-437-7644, if you'd like to call in and partake here this afternoon. Saw this today. I was reading Stuart Mandel of The Athletic many years prior to being with The Athletic for the last handful, college football writer for Sports Illustrated. So he's covered the sport for a long time. And one of the things he writes about periodically is TV ratings, highest rated games, etc. So he hit that here at the midway point of the season, and he was exploring it from this angle. And this angle being, especially in advance of tomorrow, this being the first year that ESPN/NBC ABC hold the rights to the entire SEC. Tomorrow, an ABC doubleheader, 3:30 is Alabama, Tennessee, 7:30 is Georgia, Texas. AKA, yeah, people be watching ABC tomorrow. Yikes. Yikes. The Georgia, Texas game, you can listen to it here on ESPN Radio as well. 9 of the top 12 rated games so far of this college football season have been on ABC, with all of those games having at least one SEC team. I believe 6 of the 9 are SEC conference games. The Clemson-Georgia game back from week 1 is the only of those 12 games game that has any ACC representation. But here is now, and I don't think I'd properly considered this. Well, I know this. I hadn't really considered it at all. But we talked, months ago about the ACC maybe going to some kind of revenue sharing based on brand value and TV ratings and whatever. Now, this would not necessarily affect that, but if you look at how conferences are viewed now through these metrics, eyeballs on the product and the whole thing, this is disconcerting because at least through half a season, ESPN, a.k.a. Disney, a.k.a. ABC, they've got the rights to all of the ACC, including the ACC network. They've got the rights to all of the SEC, including the SEC network. Through 7 weeks of the season, so we're halfway done in the season. The ACC last year at this point of the year had 14 games that had been shown on ABC, a.k.a. over the air, a.k.a. more people can see it. Even in this day and age with streaming and cable, whatever, the broadcast networks, ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, still get bigger numbers for these games. Being on ABC matters. Last year, Syracuse was on NBC last year because of the game at Purdue. But last year, ACC on ABC halfway through the year, 14 games. This year, 4. Last year, 14. This year, 4. So that's not all just because Florida State's crap. Last year, the SEC, now the SEC did have their weekly game on CBS at the time, but last year at the halfway mark of this season, the SEC had 5 games that had appeared on ABC. This year, 21. Last year, 5. This year, 21. That made me say, uh-oh, in a bigger way than I've really said before. I still think, there's the look-in into the ACC contract this offseason with ESPN. Like, they're not going to get rid of the ACC. It just doesn't make sense. But you can see how the ACC is now being handled in the eyes of ESPN and Disney, and that's what's disconcerting. That the SEC, you both have TV contracts with the same company exclusively, like all the same options. You've got network, you've got Big Boy ESPN, you've got the Deuce, you've got the U, and you have a conference-related channel, SEC Network or ACC Network. And not that it's ESPN's job to split that up equitably, but the main time slots on the main network are all going to the SEC. And it's getting the eyeballs, so why wouldn't you? They're getting massive ratings. The ABC is crushing all the other networks right now. They're crushing CBS. They're crushing NBC in college football ratings right now. They have 9 of the 12 highest-rated games of the year. They're going to add 2 more tomorrow when you look at those 2 games tomorrow that are going to be people watching all day long. It's not a great spot for the ACC to be in because how can you show your value that you're going to get numbers? You're not even getting on those channels anymore, where last year you at least had a chance to be on the channel. Man, the ACC has firmly moved into the shadow of the SEC in the television world. Like, I know to all of us, like, for the most part, we all have all these things, right? Like, you're going to watch Syracuse if it's on ACC Network, which it was last week. If it's on ESPN, which it'll be this upcoming week. They've been on ABC before in recent years in games with Clemson and whatnot. You'll watch it wherever. But the casual viewer, when you're not following your team, like you generally, even in this day and age, you go find out what's the game of the day, what's the channel of the day. You're going to gravitate toward those network channels. And I do wonder, like, at what point does that then hamper Syracuse or the ACC as a brand from being able to expand the value of their brand, because now you're clearly second in the hierarchy with the company that you have signed your TV contract with. Like, I don't think ESPN has any plans of ditching them because there are still all these other channels that you need to put games on. But it is something to keep an eye on going forward because Disney is clearly pushing the SEC in a way that the ACC didn't have things pushed over them in the past due to various TV contracts. There's nothing stopping them right now. So it's a thing to watch out for that is worrisome. It's something. It's definitely something and something to keep an eye on going forward. And how could it play in? You know, you look at the performance and enhancements and incentives that maybe come in within conference. Well, at some point, maybe that's not just an in-conference thing. Maybe that's an everyone thing, and then that's more money that's then being shoveled in one direction for sure. All right, with that, we will take a break. Why don't we come back? We're going to do this a little earlier than normal. We'll get Mike in here. We'll do a little 411 in the 315 of our NFL weekend, our little NFL whip around. Hopefully, we'll be joined by Mario coming up later. He's busy. He's very busy. We'll check in with him, hopefully, coming up later on this hour. Right now, we'll step aside for a few. Back at it right after this here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.
Every Tuesday, Kyle McCord is in the 315 with Brian Higgins.
Brought to you by Davidson Ford of Clay and Davidson Chevy of Rome.
On the
I'd say, Tim, that's the argument of the people that are trying to create like the Super League with all the conferences together, that they negotiate their TV rights as a big group.
State is the home of the largest pancake griddle.
That ain't going to
It's in the Finger Lakes. You'll probably never need the world's largest pancake griddle, but if you're ever hurt in a car, you may want the power of New York State's largest motor vehicle accident
free
firm,
beers?
William Mattar. We have the size and experience to take on big insurance. Let us fight to get you the money you deserve. Hurt in a car.
The commercials are on. Paulie, what are we doing? I like how Paulie Auto gets blamed for the commercials. CJC is watering his mums. 'Tis the season. Mike's back. And that was some exotic chair spinning work. It went...
I was a chair spinner in another life.
You went into it was like the Vince Carter when he spun the other way on the deck. Yeah. You went the opposite way I was expecting on the spin of the chair. What skills you have?
You ever watch any of the videos of the people trying to lift chairs up by one leg with one hand? It's like incredibly hard.
Yeah, I'd imagine the balance and
it's very interesting to watch.
And chairs are,
like I was watching
heavy and not balanced on one leg.
I was watching some massive human beings do it, and they kept messing it up. It was like one of those things where it was like a challenge where they're in the middle of the street.
You have to hold it like this.
You gotta
like a Stein holding competition.
It's on the ground, and you hold it by one.
Like the wheel.
By one. No, it was like 4 pegs, and you'd hold it by one, and you would just try to lift it straight up.
You have to hold it at the bottom, or can you hold it anywhere on the leg?
Hold it at the bottom.
Ooh, yeah, that's. Woo.
But then this the
wrist strength you got to have for that.
Yeah, this 5'4", 5'5", probably like 120-pound girl came up and she did it. But there's actually like a tactic, I guess, to make it a lot easier. If when you do it, you pull towards yourself real quick, it'll jolt a lot of the weight forward to like your body, and then you push back up and lift it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they were showing a bunch of like people my size doing it with no problem.
Yeah. So now I'm going to go home, try to pick up a chair tonight, and it's just going to fall on the ground embarrassingly.
Yep.
All right.
I hope so. Can you record it?
No, we can
you do it in front of your Ring camera? Can we just get like a Ring series?
You want me to do it outside? I'm going to bring a chair outside and be like, I'm a little chilly. Try to... Yeah, it could be like CJC talking about mums.
Can you do your next interview via your Ring?
Did I show you what's you can see on my Ring camera now?
Mm-mm. Oh, I think you did. I don't remember what it is, though, but I do remember you showing me your Ring camera.
Okay. Well, I'll show you again if I can pull it up quickly. I got to sign in.
Mm.
The plastic skeletons. That are
yeah.
Yeah. They got their arms around each other's shoulders.
Aw.
Yeah, they're buddies.
Friendship.
We got a pink skeleton and an orange skeleton. They're buddy skeletons just framing the shot on my front door camera. I think Ring camera, because I don't actually have the Ring brand. It's like Kleenex now. They've taken out. They've got.
Really?
Yeah. Like the people just call them Ring cameras. It's like how tissues are Kleenex, even if it's a different brand. I feel that's what's happened. There's a term for that.
Definitely.
I don't remember what the term
Me
is.
either. Never knew it.
Across Central New York, it's the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
All right, back at it here on this Friday. Rolling along here in this hour, brought to you by our friends at TVOffers.com, which is powered by Drivers Village, which still, even at this very minute, remains in Cicero.
Here's the 411.
Hello, and welcome to Movie Phone.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
In the 315.
So you're going to be doing that all week, right?
Nah. Yeah. Hey, what's going on?
There it is. That's what's going on. NFL Whip Around Friday, Mike.
That's today.
It's Friday.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Slightly earlier than normal. We're going to hope to get Mario on later. We can probably just ignore. Wait, Mario just. Well, this is literally happening right now. Mario just said, "Call me. I'm free for 5 minutes."
Oh.
Mike, we're going to have to stop the music and do this whole thing. Who is Jordan out there?
Pause.
Call Mario. He's free for 5 minutes. Abort. But really, we got to call Mario right now. He's free. Yeah. Run. Jordan's still there.
I'm just gonna leave
I
anyway.
didn't know if Jordan was still out there. Run anyway. Sprint. Run around. We'll do this segment again. I'm going to play the whole open again. We're going to do the whole thing again. We're calling Mario. He's free for 5 minutes. The clock's counting. 4:59, 4:58, 4:57, 4:56, 4:55. Oh, God. Call. Should I just leave this music up and you can just enter in the middle of whatever we're doing? We'll just slowly fade it out. It's like a fire drill. Ah! We're doing the opposite of order. We're panicking. Call. There he is. We executed that quickly. I like we literally just dropped. We just started doing something else and we panicked and ran around in a circle. Mario, welcome. Thank you for shoving us into your comically busy Friday you got going on right now.
That's what I like to hear. I'm trying to ingest video as we speak for my live hit, but great time at the Mello Center, getting to know these guys a little bit. You know, I haven't seen obviously them play. We get to see them play next Saturday, but Chance says he's just itching to get back out there. And I asked Coach Autry, that was the big question that I kind of had. When are we going to see Chance play? And he said, I don't know if he's quite ready for the exhibition games yet. But hopefully, just after or maybe that second exhibition game, we get to see Chance Westry finally play.
Yeah, we got to bring the whole press conference, courtesy of you, Mario. Thank you to everybody here to start the show. But then you got to talk to the guys. So you talked to Chance. What came out of your talking to the guys? Because it is a lot of new faces, new players that we haven't really interacted with a whole ton before.
So I tried to mix it up a little bit. I tried to go with new guys or and then guys that are transferring in here, along with talking to JJ and Chris Bell. And the underlying theme was it's a mixture of you have your younger guys, but the guys that are brought in are upperclassmen. They're seniors, they're juniors that have the experience that can mold these younger guys. If it be a Donnie Freeman. If it be a Choppa Moore, and they say it's gelled perfectly so far together. And obviously you're not going to know until you see them out on the floor. But that's what stood out to me of, normally when you got that mixture of, I think it was a couple years ago coming in was the only freshman on Syracuse team with a bunch of older classmen, and like that's hard. But now that you have these two freshmen and two highly touted ones that expect to see a decent amount of time this year, the molding process is what has impressed me that these guys talk about so far. That it's been a smooth transition so far here early on.
Red obviously was asked about Tony Bennett, as I'm sure every coach around the country is going to be here in the next few days or so as we go through these things and get into exhibition games. And I don't think he gave away a lot with his answer, but it sounded like, hey man, like I took this job after all this started. Like it or not, it's the deal, right? Like if you're a newer coach, you just gotta roll with all this stuff.
Yeah, and I've heard that from a couple of coaches that have grown up in the era of NIL. Like, you have to adapt, and it's not like Tony Bennett wasn't adapting to it, or these guys, they couldn't do it. I just don't think that they got fed up with it. The days of coaching the X's and O's are, and I had this conversation with the coach in the area, the days of coaching X's and O's take up maybe 15% of your time now, compared to, that's all it was. So, Red kind of scooted around the question a little bit, but he knows that, I have to live with it. Like, we have to have a solid NIL base if I'm going to bring in the guys that I want to bring in, or it's not going to be there to the expectations that Syracuse fans want.
All right, before we quickly get to your six-pack here, what's the biggest question you have about this year's basketball team right now as we are a week out from getting to see them for the first time?
Biggest question that I have is who's going to score the basketball besides Chris Bell? Are you going to be focused on trying to hammer the ball down low to an Eddie Lampkin? Because I think JJ's going to be JJ. I think at times JJ is going to give you 21 points. And at times he's going to give you 8 points. But who is going to be that other guy to score? Is it going to be an Eddie Lampkin? Is it going to be, Donnie Freeman has all the expectations of being a great player, but like any freshman, he's going to take his lumps. Like, who will be that next guy? Because I think Chris Bell is going to have a big year for this basketball team. Syracuse hasn't had a shooter like him. And yeah, obviously you had Buddy Boeheim and you had Joe Girard who could fill it up. But, Chris is a very good shooter, and I expect him, when all is said and done, to be, first or second team All-ACC this season. Okay, that would be a big-time shooting season if he ends up on those lists at the end of the year. All right, we just heard Pete Alonso apparently just did a 3-run homer, so the Mets up. Boy, Pete. All right. There we go. That's bottom of the first, so there we are. All right, let's hit the six-pack quick.
It's time for Mario to make you money.
Your money? You know what else? You're a big winner.
Or maybe not.
And it's gone. Money!
Here's the Sacco six-pack.
All right, what do you got here this weekend?
I was like, I knew I sent you this list somewhere. I got to find it. It's been one of those days. But we got it. In the other game tonight, I would like the Yankees on the money line. Boy, did they just cough up one yesterday. To the Guardians. They're still the Indians to me. Give me Yankees minus 120 on the money line. WNBA action. Give me Stewie. She only dropped 30 last game.
Mm-hmm.
I got her at right around even money, minus 115 if she scores 22 points or more. If you look at the point line for that. What else we got here? We got a couple of college football games. Somehow Wake Forest is an underdog at UConn.
What?
Plus 1.5 is what I saw, but they're an underdog at plus 1.5, but they're still minus 102 on the money line. So you scratch your head on that one. Give me Wake Forest anyhow in the football game. Wisconsin is minus 8 at Northwestern. Wisconsin beat the snot out of Rutgers last week. Give me the Badgers to keep it rolling, and I got one NFL game. Oh, I got one more football game. I need to learn how to count. Give me Nebraska, plus 6.5 at Indiana. I am going against my boy Kurt Cignetti. Sorry to his dad. God rest his soul. Great guy, Frank Cignetti. And give me Baltimore in the NFL, -3.5 at Tampa.
All right, that was sort of a pick against last year's darling of the six-pack JMU. So that we'll see how that works out for you.
I know, and always done since is go 6-0 at Indiana. So that might be a bad pick. Stay away from that one.
All right, where are you off to tonight? What games are you going to be at?
That's a great question, Brian. I need to open up. We got 12 games for you. I am off to. I have no idea, to be truthfully honest with you. I know we got West Jenny against CBA is one of our games. ITC in West Hill should be a good one over at Corcoran. That's kicking off right about now. So, if you want to know where Mario went, you'll have to tune into the Fever tonight because I don't remember where I'm going.
All right, tune in at 11. Mario's probably going somewhere. He's busy. All right, buddy. Thanks for hopping on for a few. We'll let you get back to it.
Great seeing you, buddy.
There he is. Mario Sacco sneaking us in. I think he said he had 5 minutes. Oh, we kept him for 7:38. Ooh, we're naughty. We're a little naughty here on that. All right, let's take a break. Mario, check him out on the news tonight. He'll have been somewhere and he'll have done something. Busy bye week for Syracuse football. Busy day still in the sporting world here locally. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll do the same exact thing that we were going to do this segment. We'll just start it all over again. We'll get Mike in. We'll do the 4-on-1 NFL. I'm going to even hit all the buttons again because why not? We'll do that all when we come back after this. It's Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. Oh, Metsy's up 3-0. All right. Yeah, I have no idea what the Lampkin experience is going to be like, Dan. I think it's going to be something. Hey, look, it's Mike. Should I just pretend you weren't here to start the segment? Who? Yeah. All right. Yeah, we haven't done this yet today. I think that was some good panic and running around. Yeah.
Got a little crazy, a little wild.
Yeah. It was actually perfectly orderly, but it feels better to act like it was in total panic.
Acting.
I like how Mario doesn't know where he's going tonight. Legit has no idea where he's going next. Legit has no idea. He's just going to get a camera, hop in a car, and be like, It's
been a crazy day. Do you think he meant to go live so early?
With us?
No, with the stream.
I don't know if he was actually doing that.
That makes sense.
I was just giving him credit. I don't know who was actually doing that. I'm going to bet he was not actually in charge of the technology for that.
Mario's a cool cat. Super nice to me. If you're nice to me, I like you. It's that simple.
All right. And that's why Mike does not like me. So is this now Paulie and Mario both predicted Chris Bell to be first or second team All-League? Didn't Paulie do that the other day?
Somebody did. I do remember.
I'm just not to disagree with all our people, but that's only that means they're saying he's going to be one of the top 10 players in the ACC.
He's a great shooter, but if in order for that to happen,
he's going to be a way different player than before.
He's got to either get to become an incredible shooter or learn how to play defense.
Or rebound.
Yeah, that's it.
Rebounding.
Yeah, he's a pretty big kid.
Like I can see him actually having he could have a very, very good season and not be first or second team All-League.
Yeah.
Like there's 18 teams.
So is he officially going to be at the 2 or
no? I don't think so. I think he's still playing the 3. My guess is they'll be starting Carlos, JJ,
True, yeah.
Bell, Freeman, and Lampkin is my guess.
I'll get some shots up for him. Ice out the game, fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Man, always warm.
We'll put you right in the fourth quarter. Don't tell Mike there's no quarters.
Why did they do halves in college?
You know,
they're like the only...
I think it was to be different. I like the women's game switched from halves to quarters a few years ago. I get it's the same total amount of time. I like it a lot better.
Yeah.
I found the year they switched, which was 2016, 2015, 2016, Like, you're so used to the 20 minutes, like, oh, man, there's 18 minutes to go. Then all of a sudden, like, the game's 8 minutes. Oh, God. It just always felt like something was happening.
I like it. I think they should go to quarters. Not a big halves guy.
You got an anti-Malik Brown source, CJC. Oh, yeah, I agree. At this point, they're just doing it to be different.
Yeah.
And I find that silly. Yeah, I can see that, Dan. Like, unless like JJ really explodes this year or something, or unless Donnie Freeman is like legit a super stud, yeah, I could see that happening. He says he doesn't. That Griff said no one's going to probably knows to score 15 a game this year. Balance could be fun. Yeah, I like Malik's a really good player.
He signed my cousin's jersey.
Malik Brown?
Yep.
Oh, that's nice of him. Was he supposed to? It would be less nice of him if he just walked up and started saying,
right.
Hey,
on the middle of the street. Who are you?
That's my Kobe jersey.
Yeah, right. This is my 2009 Game 6 Finals Kobe jersey.
Yes, CJC. Allegedly.
There are things that I would not sign if I was, like, famous. You know what I mean? Just because you wouldn't want to disgrace it.
Mm.
It's the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
All right, well, Mike has not been in here to do this segment yet today, so this is all brand new and fresh. Should I do like the reading? Should I just do everything again, Mike?
Absolutely.
This hour is brought to you by our friends at dvoffers.com, which remains powered by Drivers Village, which is, last check, is still in Cicero. I don't think I've hit this button yet today. No, this is all new.
Here's the 411.
Hello, and welcome to Movie Phone.
Yeah, haven't heard this.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Brand new.
315.
So you're going to be doing that all week, right?
Nah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, look, Mike's here, and the NFL music is definitely the first time today we've done this.
It's the 411, the NFL whip around.
Wow. It is one pretty good timing by Mario that we literally hadn't talked about anything.
Yeah, we didn't get into it at all.
We literally ground to a halt.
We hit a little rewind, got Mario in.
Yeah, there we go.
Sunday is going to be the start of, well, I guess not really the start because Thursday was the...
Did we have to count last night?
Yeah, that was like practice.
that wasn't the start
last
of anything.
Night's game was really boring. I only watched halfway through the second quarter, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I watched 0 minutes of it, and I regret nothing.
The Yankee game, though, that was good.
That was wild.
I know it's tough for Yankee fans with the outcome, but baseball fans, like, that was a great game.
I mean, fantastic game. Like, that had an old school.
It really did.
Playoff game feel.
It really did. It was definitely like after the back-to-back home run, I was like, man, the Brooklyn Bombers, baby. This is what we've been waiting for all year, which obviously...
The Bronx Bombers.
Is it the Bronx? I thought it was Brooklyn back in the day. You're right, it is Bronx.
They're in the Bronx.
There it is Bronx.
Yeah.
I was thinking Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's very old school, but they were not the Bombers.
They were not.
No.
They were the Dodgers.
They were.
But now they're not the Brooklyn Dodgers.
No.
They're the LA Dodgers.
You've caught up now.
Okay.
All right, I think we're up to date on the last 70 years now.
How little does Mike know about baseball?
Okay.
All right, getting the show started at 9:30. Another London game. The Patriots 1-5 going to be taking on the 1-5 Jaguars.
Like, what is it? The NFL's like, we're pushing overseas football. Then they just said, here's our worst football.
Yeah, this is
that is terrible.
This is the league high 12th game in London for the Jaguars, and they've been
like they have made an agreement, like they're willing. But do they always have to play terrible teams over there?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I mean, if you're terrible, you're not going to want to play a good team.
Do they always have to be terrible themselves?
That's the issue. That's what we got to get to the bottom of. These London games would be great.
I forget what week it is. We're not that far away from Giants Panthers in Germany.
What is it, week 7? Because both teams are 1-5, so they'll be playing their 6th game this week.
Yeah. It's
their 7th game.
7th
Math
game.
is hard.
Your counting is once again stellar. Yeah, I can't even begin to care about that game. What am I supposed to care about?
Not at all. Hopefully,
which
people
is sad. It's got a former number 1 overall pick in Trevor Lawrence and the number 3 pick from this year's draft in Drake May, and I just don't care about this game.
Yeah, this is Jaguars probably the most disappointing team this season. I think a lot of people expected a hop up the ladder instead of a fall down it. But yeah, not exciting. One that could be exciting, Bills-Titans. Going to be taking on 1 o'clock. Going to start your 1 o'clock games with New York, Bills taking on the Titans. Bills have been looking pretty darn good. They had Cooper. It's just going to help the team. I mean, they got him out of steel.
No, I'm intrigued to see how much run is he going to get on Sunday. What can they put in for him in the offense on a very short week? Titans aren't good. Can the Bills defense really shut them down? Will Levis has been bad. Can the Bills defense be like, you're bad, we're going to make you look bad?
Another 1 o'clock game. This one should be a really interesting one. 5-1 Texans taking on the 4-2 Packers. Love back. Should be quote-unquote 100% and have a good outing. It's one that I'm going to watch. That's probably going to be the 1 o'clock game that I watch for sure.
That's an intriguing game. That's like two of the... I get the Packers have been around, in the mix forever because they transition quarterbacks pretty cleanly, but this version of the Packers is kind of young and up and coming. Yep. They're one of the young up and coming teams in the NFC. Texans young up and coming in the AFC. Two young, interesting quarterbacks. Yeah, I like this game. I think that's going to be a very interesting game.
Now, the one you're probably going to be watching 1 o'clock, Eagles-Giants.
Yes, sir.
Malik Neighbors is back.
Yeah, Malik he'll be playing left tackle for the Andrew Thomas injury is terrifying because it's like I realize the Giants line is significantly improved from last year, but when you lose the best guy, I'm extremely concerned about what that's going to do. Apparently, Philly's left tackle, Jordan Mailata's also out.
He is, yes.
So there could just be a whole mess of offensive lines. I don't know. Saquon, the Giants' run defense is actually fine. Dexter Lawrence has been unbelievable this year. I don't know. This game could be gross because the Eagles have been a mess. The Giants, I don't know how they score points. They're probably going to lose, but realistically, unless the Eagles blow out the Giants, the funny part is the biggest thing that'll come out of the game is that Eagles fans will still hate their head coach, and that will be amusing to me. I will enjoy that.
Oh, man. Another exciting one, 1 o'clock. Probably the last one we're going to talk about because the rest really aren't that exciting at 1 o'clock. But Lions-Vikings, 4-1 Lions taking on the 5-0 Vikings. Vikings have it 1.5 points. This should be a good one. I want to see how Detroit can do without Aiden Hutchinson. Season-ending injury that
Man, he's so good.
More than just a loss on the field. He is quite literally, everybody knows, the leader of that defense.
He broke the bones in his leg. That's not what you want to have happen. And this is I think the Vikings are good, but this is one of the first, all right, now everyone knows you're good. Now you're playing the Lions, who've looked fantastic the last few weeks. Coming off their NFC title game appearance last year. This is a divisional game. This is kind of our first, are the Vikings legit kind of games.
The only sad thing about this is if you're the Vikings, it's a double-edged sword having not having Aiden Hutchinson because you can easily say, yeah, well, we beat them because we're better, and then now people will have that rebuttal of, well, their defense is completely different right now than it was last week because with that loss, it's massive. But at the end of the day, a win's a win, so the Vikings won't complain, and you don't have to convince people you're good when you're 6-0.
Yeah, that'll be a good game.
Let's get it. 4 o'clock games. Chiefs 49ers should be interesting. Should be a fun
Super Bowl rematch?
Yep. Dang it, I forget the backup running back.
The Niners are favored.
Yeah, well, they got the backup back. What is his name? Backup running back.
Oh, is Jordan Mason going to play?
Yes, Jordan Mason. It was announced today that he should be playing.
He had a shoulder thing. I think it was an AC joint situation. I don't know. Niners are favored by 2. The game is in California. Chiefs undefeated. It's just it's hard to pick it's hard to pick the Chiefs to lose any game.
Yeah.
I think it'll be close. This is a big game for the Niners though. They're 3-3. They're kind of having one of those post Super Bowl funky years. Guys are getting hurt, McCaffrey's still out. The receivers have been in and out. Are you going to be able to go show you're on the same stage with the big boys this year, or are you going to have a little Super Bowl, post-Super Bowl funk? I think we'll kind of learn that a bit tomorrow.
Yeah, this is in no way
Sunday.
This is in no way season ending if you lose, but if you win, man, you're walking tall for the next couple weeks if you can walk out.
Yeah, if the Niners win that's more like we're legit trying to get back to the Super Bowl again this year. If they lose, it's The Chiefs are still undefeated, and they've won the last 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
They're just Patrick Mahomes just keeps grinding.
Yeah, it's literally just him right now.
Yeah, he's just hanging out,
just him
grinding. His stats are terrible, and he won't lose. He refuses to lose.
Being very good at football. We can talk about the Panthers and Commanders, but we don't really have to. Commanders probably going to win.
Yeah, they're actually good, I think, and the Panthers stink.
Yep. Pretty easy.
This could be a huge Jaden Daniels game. This is a go wild
kind of
game for the rookie. He's fun.
He's good.
You know, it'd be great if he was on the Giants.
Yeah.
I'd like that.
Yeah. I'm happy he's not.
No, he's on a team the Giants have to play twice every year for like the next decade.
Raiders-Rams, also not that exciting. Rams not doing well at all.
No.
Are they any healthier on the line?
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't think so.
Or at wide receiver.
Yeah.
And the Raiders just traded away their wide receiver who was fake hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Rams wide receivers are really hurt.
He was hurt.
Yeah.
Fake hurt.
Yeah, that game's happening.
Speaking of Devontae Adams, though, 8:20 game.
Jets Steelers. Your Steelers. You'll be watching that game.
Yes.
Mike
very
Steelers.
Intriguing. And I don't
have the Steelers said who's starting a quarterback yet?
No, but George Pickens today, after he was talking to the media.
Oh, did he accidentally give away the dirt?
He said this week he's been taking extra snaps with Russell Wilson since he's going to be healthy.
Okay.
Now, he didn't quite say he's going to be starting, but I mean, if you're the number one wide receiver, I think you're going to be the guy who knows who's starting, if anybody knows.
I wonder. I still don't know what the best option is here for the Steelers.
I don't care what the option is. I just don't get the point. I mean, I feel like everyone's studying for both quarterbacks anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't know.
When are we going to know the answer? Do I need to tune in to Sunday Night? Is Mike Tirico going to tell me the answer? Who's telling me the answer?
Possibly. I don't know. I don't really care. I do care a little bit.
You do. You're a Steelers fan.
Part of me hates the decision because I don't think Justin Fields did bad. 10 touchdowns, 10 total touchdowns, 1 interception.
He's playing very well.
It is very clear that Russell Wilson isn't what he used to be last year. I think he did have a better year than expected. But if it's not broke, don't fix it. I don't get the point of it. He's going to be rusty. He hasn't played football in the last month. Like, there's no point to me.
I guess here's the one reason. Like, if you were going to make the move, if you're Pittsburgh, the reason I would use is, and they've kind of said this out loud, like they've been on the treadmill, right, of just sneak into the playoffs, lose. This is an organization that wants to win the Super Bowl. They're tired of sneaking into the playoffs. So I think you need to look at it. Of those two quarterbacks are either capable of raising to the level of winning you a Super Bowl this year. Yeah. And I guess, like, if you're making the move, Russ has done it. That was a decade ago. So I guess then the follow-up question is like, that guy did it. Can he do it again? And you're like, is Justin Fields ever going to be capable of that? I don't know. I think who starts the game tomorrow will tell us a lot about their answer to that question. Or who starts the game on Sunday. It's still not tomorrow.
In short list, Russ is going to give you the better option. I'm not all in on this idea, but there is a strong possibility that this Steelers could be a Peyton Manning Broncos type of season. I mean, that could happen.
Yeah,
this defense is that good.
What in the playoffs could skirt you through in a year where nobody seems to be pulling away from the pack? Like,
that's true.
Like wily veteran Russell Wilson makes 5 throws in January that win you a game or two, or the more explosive younger guy. I don't know the answer to the question. I'm very intrigued to see, be it this week, be it next week, which way Tomlin is leaning in the answer to that question.
Yeah, and he keeps everything so close to his chest, so we probably won't know until Sunday morning.
I'm predicting a Devontae Adams touchdown on that game, by the way. He'll just score. Rodgers is going to get him the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, that's the benefit with Aaron Rodgers. And
he'll give him like a hand signal, call a play that like literally only those two guys know. Like the other 9 guys in the field won't know what the hell they're doing. It'll be
that's exactly what I think will happen.
He'll give him like one of these, like a wiggly, like.
Because I mean, the day he got traded, he was on the Pat McAfee show.
In Rodgers' house.
Yeah, and Devontae was there. So, I mean, those guys played with each other for like 6, 7, whatever years. They obviously have a lot of rapport, and they could within an hour or two create up a bunch of hand signals.
They don't even have to create. No, Rodgers will give them one that they used in like 2016. And
That's true.
Apparently, Rodgers did that. He'd do hand signals that like most guys on the team didn't even know what the hell it was. It's like, dude, you're running a play from like 2012 who weren't here. I don't know what you're doing.
You got to be so confident in what you believe the defense is doing.
Yeah, give him one of the old finger waggle and a touchdown.
Before we get out of here, I might as well at least gloss over the Monday night games real fast. Ravens going to be taking on the Bucks, both 4-2 teams.
I like that game.
I like the Bucks. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, Baker. You love Baker.
I saw a clip this morning of it was said Lamar is the only person that can tell Derrick Henry no when he says give me the ball, because it was a clip of a 4th down and Derrick Henry's like give it to me and he's like no, I'm gonna keep it, and he goes all right, just be careful.
Derrick's like okay.
So that one should be a very interesting game. I just love Baker Mayfield, don't know why, always will.
And then Chargers Cardinals exclusively on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, exclusively not going to be watching that.
Yeah, because it's another one of these problems. I'm loving, I love the multi-box. When the things are on different servers, I can't, it's much harder to multi-box.
I just love YouTube, man.
Yeah.
YouTube TV, they got it figured out. They know what they're doing.
Now I can't put the things on the screen at the same time, then you got to choose, and which game, I'm going to choose the other game. All right, there we are. Little 411, our NFL whip around here on a Friday. We'll take a break, tell you what's on tap when we come back after this on this Friday. It's Q Sports Talk. It is ESPN Radio.
Don't miss the
Syracuse.
Oh. Yeah, a 9 o'clock start, Chargers Cardinals on ESPN Plus. Like, I can watch the game. I have that. But
I won't be.
Probably not.
What do you want on the pod? Yeah.
How are we going to do the pod today?
I mean, we could do 1, 4, and 5. I mean, the man that sort of knows was 4, right?
Yeah, I might say 1 had the whole pressure in it.
Oh, I forgot about that. Could do 2.
Maybe we do 1, but take out the presser. So the beginning and end of 1, 2, 4, 5. That should probably be enough things. Or wait, what did I do? 3. Oh, 3 was Tony Bennett.
I thought it was 2.
Was that 2? No, that was 3. 1, the beginning and end of 1. 2, where we react to 1. 3, Tony Bennett.
Oh, yeah, you reacted.
5, the college football ABC stuff.
1A, 1C, 2,
3, 5. Yeah. Now we're planning. Now we're podcasting. Now we're making stuff.
2, 3, 5.
Yeah. Yeah. We're saying numbers. We're slinging numbers. We're creating podcasts. We're making magic, people. That is the second time today I've seen Shlemiel Shlemazel. Paulie literally said that in the hallway earlier when he was just saying random TV things from the 70s for reasons that I can't even begin to get into because it's just ridiculous. Anything else happen in this baseball game? It's 3-1. The Dodgers are on the board. How did they score their run? It was not a home run by Ohtani. I would not have a clue of how to start spelling Schlemiel or Schlemazel. Schlemiel. I bet it's SCHMIEL. Schlemazel. SCHLMOZEL. That's what I'm going to go with. Schlemiel Schlemazel. Well, is Florida State playing tonight? Is that game tonight, too? Man, there's a lot going on. Who are they playing? Who can they lose to? Duke? At Duke? Oh, yeah, they can lose that game. That'd be great. That would be great. Duke is a 3-point favorite, according to this. What's ESPN advertising to me? A new show, The Breakdown with Peyton and Belichick? All right. That could be interesting. It is Friday, Kev.
All across CNY, it's the 315. Here's Brian Higgins.
All right, back at it here. Last licks here on a Friday.
Here's what's on tap tonight.
Oh, what's not on tap tonight? There's a lot of things going on. Don't forget to check out the spectacular stroll throughout the weekend at Long Branch Park or Hollow Hops tomorrow, the Brewfest. At the New York State Fairgrounds at the Horticulture Building. Tickets available, spooktacularstroll.com, hollowhops.com. A Yankees on Deck, a very special postseason edition of Yankees on Deck coming up next. Jordan will be in, getting you ready for Game 4 of the Yanks and Guardians tonight. Then at 6:45, we turn things over to Lucas Favali. It's countdown to crunch time. The Crunch and the Laval Rocket tonight in the AHL. Busy weekend of football coming up. The Georgia-Texas game will be on our airwaves tomorrow night. No Cuse football, but man, there's a lot going on here this weekend. Bye week for Syracuse football. And when we get back on Monday, what's on tap? It's a quick ramp up. It's Syracuse and Pittsburgh coming up on Thursday night. We're going to really dive into the idea. This is the biggest Syracuse Pitt game that I can remember in a long time. So we'll explore the depths on that when we get into next week. But there we are. That's what's on tap tonight and into the weekend, brought to you by our friends at Labatt USA. Update from the Mets, 3-1 in that game right now. The Dodgers have scored. It is 3-1. They have just completed the second inning at Citi Field. With that, we'll step aside. Yankees on Deck coming up next with Jordan. Enjoy your weekend. We're back on Monday, 4 o'clock here on Q Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.